Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we're halfway through the month of June, and we've made it to another hump day. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Wednesday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and we have part of my conversation with Martin Lee of the organization Project CBD, discussing his new book, The Essential Guide to CBD. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In national news, U.S. COVID-19 deaths hit 600,000, equal to yearly cancer toll. The U.S. death toll from COVID-19 topped 600,000 on Tuesday, even as the vaccination drive has drastically brought down daily cases and fatalities and allowed the country to emerge from the gloom and look forward to summer. The number of lives lost, as recorded by Johns Hopkins University, is greater than the population of Baltimore or Milwaukee. It is about equal to the number of Americans who died of cancer in 2019. Worldwide, the COVID-19 death toll stands at about 3.8 million. The milestone came the same day that California and New York lifted most of their remaining restrictions, joining other states in opening the way step by step for what could be a fun and close to normal summer for many Americans. With the arrival of the vaccine in mid-December, COVID-19 deaths per day in the United States have plummeted to an average of about 340 from a high of over 3,400 in mid-January. Cases are running at about 14,000 a day on average, down from 250,000 per day over the winter. The real death tolls in the U.S. and around the globe are thought to be significantly higher, with many cases overlooked or possibly concealed by some countries. The most recent deaths are seen in some ways as especially tragic now that the vaccine has become available practically for the asking. More than 50% of Americans have had at least one dose of vaccine, while over 40% are fully vaccinated, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But demand for shots in the U.S. has dropped off dramatically, leaving many places with a surplus of doses and casting doubt on whether the country will meet Biden's target of having 70% of Americans at least partially vaccinated by July the 4th. The figure stands at just under 65%. As of a week ago, the U.S. was averaging about 1 million injections per day, down from a high of 3.3 million a day on average in mid-April, according to the CDC. In more national news, emails show Trump pressured Justice Department over 2020 election. During the last weeks of his presidency, Donald Trump and his allies pressured the Justice Department to investigate unsubstantiated claims of widespread 2020 election fraud that even his former Attorney General declared without evidence, newly released emails show. The emails released on Tuesday by the House Oversight Committee reveal in new detail how Trump, his White House Chief of Staff, and other allies pressured members of the U.S. government to challenge the 2020 election results. Officials at Homeland Security and the Justice Department, as well as Republican election leaders across the country, repeatedly said there was no pervasive fraud. Former Attorney General William Barr, a longtime Trump loyalist, was among those who said there was no evidence of such fraud. The emails also show the extent to which Trump worked to enlist then acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen in his campaign's failing legal efforts to challenge the election result, including suggesting filing a brief with the U.S. Supreme Court. In international news, what they want, divergent goals for Biden and Putin at summit. An American president won't side with Moscow over his own intelligence agencies. There will be no talk of a reset in Russian relations, and it is highly doubtful that anyone will gaze into Vladimir Putin's eyes and discuss his soul. But beyond that, it's not clear what will happen today in Geneva when President Joe Biden meets Putin for the first time since taking office. Both sides acknowledge that the relationship between the two nations is dismal, and neither holds out much hope for meaningful areas of agreement. Still, each man brings his own goals to the summit table. The Associated Press says what Biden wants. Biden and his allies have made clear that he will not follow in the footsteps of his recent predecessors by aiming to radically alter the U.S. ties with Russia. Instead, the White House is looking for a more modest, though still vitally important goal, to move toward a more predictable relationship and attempt to rein in Russia's disruptive behavior. The Associated Press says what Putin wants, Putin also won't be expecting to warm up ties. His main goal would be to draw his red lines to the new U.S. administration and negotiate a tense status quo that would protect Moscow's vital interests. And finally, in business news, U.S. stocks dipped from records ahead of Fed decision on interest rates. U.S. stocks slipped from their record highs on Tuesday as investors wait to hear whether the Federal Reserve will give any clue about when it may let up on its massive support for markets. The S&P 500 dipped 8.56 or 0.2% to 4,247. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Always trust your inner strength. When you find yourself feeling vulnerable about opening your heart or about trusting the motives of another, it will be helpful for you to explore these feelings in depth in your knowings. Consider whether you are coming from a fear of loss or lack of confidence. Take time to build up a strong sense of inner security and emotional stability, as this will help you to feel more confident. You can build up this sense of self through trusting yourself to take small risks when opportunities present themselves. Feelings of distrust or any negative feelings are often inspired by memories of painful past experiences. Through risking, you enhance your awareness of self, allowing you to feel dynamically whole. Now you can heal your painful past and become able to love yourself and share your love and all of your talents with the world. Today, nurture yourself by trusting your inner strength. And remember to enjoy the day.
Martin Lee of Project CBD is joining us in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Martin Lee of the organization Project CBD joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the changing stigma around CBD and his book, The Essential Guide to CBD. Here's a bit of our conversation.
At least over the past, I would say 4 or 5 years has definitely shifted. Is that one of the things that you're noticing, that people are better understanding CBD and the benefits associated with it?
I think certainly there's been a shift in terms of people being more open to it. In terms of understanding it, I'm not sure. But definitely people are more open-minded about it because CBD, cannabidiol is what it stands for, does still, in some minds, carry the stigma of marijuana, which is unfortunate because CBD is not intoxicating. It doesn't cause people to get high. But it does have that association that lingers for some people.
So before we get too much into the Essential Guide to CBD, because there are some great segments in there, including safety, Martin, which I want to make sure we get into, I want to talk about the organization that you're with, Project CBD. Talk to us about the mission of Project CBD, Martin, and what you hope to accomplish when it comes to educating, but also to be able to inform.
Well, Project CBD is a nonprofit educational service. We have a website, projectcbd.org. that provides information about CBD and other aspects of cannabis therapeutics. Project CBD was launched in 2010, so it's over a decade now. We've been going at it sort of long before most people ever heard about CBD. And we actually introduced CBD into the medical marijuana world in California. We're an organization based in California. At that time, the medical cannabis experience in California was very THC-oriented. THC is the sister compound. THC is the high cortin component of cannabis. And our mission was to emphasize to doctors, to patients, to others that there's a lot more to the cannabis plant.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back with you guys on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.